Hey guys, what is up? It is Austin here bringing you guys another video, and today I'm bringing you a video that I've been wanting to bring for a while now, and let's just jump right into it. This video is why the Dead Space remake is absolutely amazing. So I am not doing a full review because I have not fully beaten the game yet. I'm pretty much near the end, but I don't want to do a full review. I want to finish the game, and then I'll put out a full review, but these are just kind of like a first impressions video. And my God, the best first impressions I've had on a video game in years. I mean, the problem with modern day gaming, in my opinion, was that games would come out and they'd be rushed and not finished, and you'd have to wait about 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months into the game's life cycle to get the full game how it was supposed to be on launch. Not with the Dead Space remake. So some of you guys who've been around for a while know I love Dead Space. I played all the Dead Space games. I've streamed all the Dead Space games. I've done hardcore runs on all the Dead Space games on Twitch. I love Dead Space. And I even started reading into like the backstory and stuff of Dead Space because I was so interested in the universe. So when EA announced the Dead Space remake, I was a little worried because I saw what remakes were kind of becoming. First off, I love Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 3 Remake, I still think is a fun game, but it wasn't what the original was. It lost the magic of the OG RE3. So I was really worried this game would lose the magic of the OG Dead Space. And I can safely say that that just hasn't happened. So let me tell you everything so far that I think this game has done wonderfully. Let's start with the first thing that you'll notice is the stability of the game. So it runs at minimum 60 FPS. This game is fucking gorgeous. I mean, it is just fantastic. It feels so smooth. I've not experienced any frame drops myself personally. The atmosphere is simply fantastic. The graphics are amazing. And I really think they did a good job in keeping this game just on the next generation of consoles. At least I don't think they're on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I could be wrong on that, though. But the game just looks absolutely stunning. It plays absolutely stunning. No performance issues, at least on my end. I've been playing it on the Xbox Series X. Maybe there's been issues on other consoles. But I've just been simply stunned by this game's performance. I've loved every bit of it. Now, aside from that, let's talk about the atmosphere. The atmosphere of Dead Space is simply just, it's astounding. This is something the original games did really well as well. But, you know, that you don't just hear enemies that are attacking you. You will randomly just hear stuff crawling around the vents. You'll randomly hear screams for help from other survivors on the ship that you can't have access to. You hear just these terrifying noises that sometimes don't even affect the gameplay because sometimes those enemies don't even come out to attack you. Sometimes they're just lurking and watching. Very, very unsettling, and it really adds to the atmosphere of the game. And I think that is another thing that is simply stunning. Another thing that I think they did really, really, really well with the remake is they gave Isaac a voice. So if you guys don't remember, in Dead Space 1, Isaac was a mute. He didn't talk at all. He talks in Dead Space 2 and 3, but in the first game, there's so much emotional weight and so much story reveal and so many mysteries, and you never quite get Isaac's take on it because he doesn't speak. All you would get from Isaac is the occasional movement or like a shrug or a facepalm or something like that. But this game thankfully gave him his voice back, and the voice actor for Isaac, who I cannot believe I don't know the name of, he's simply amazing. I mean, he does an amazing job at portraying this character. And while on the subject of characters, let's talk about the characters in Dead Space. So a lot of these people are just good people stuck in a horrible situation. And some of them are bad people stuck in a horrible situation. And the game is absolutely terrifying because they give you a lot of time to spend with a lot of characters, whether it's characters that are already dead and you learn about them in voice logs, or the current characters you're playing as is Isaac, or you hear about Hammond, or you hear about Isaac's girlfriend, Nicole. They do a really great job of fleshing out the characters, so when someone dies, you actually feel something, which I think is a problem with a lot of horror games, is that when someone dies, you don't really care because you don't know them and you don't really care about them. But in Dead Space, when something happens, you're like, oh, fuck, man, like that was like a good person. So you feel the weight of what's actually happening in the story. So that is just a fantastic, I wouldn't say addition because they did that really well in the original Dead Space games, but you know, it's still really strong here. And, you know, another thing that I think really needs to be touched upon, which again, the original game did amazing as well, is just the ship design, the USG Ishimura. the way these rooms are designed, it's just so many twists and turns, so many angles to look at. And the enemy AI, which I'll get to in a second, works so well with the rooms that they're placed in. I mean, it's fantastic. The room design, it's really similar to Resident Evil when you think about it, because in Resident Evil, like, the rooms that you go in Resident Evil are almost characters. I mean, they have so many memorable rooms. And like when you play Resident Evil 1, right, you think of the mansion, you think of all like the crazy rooms. Same with Resident Evil 2. Dead Space does that amazingly as well. You remember what these locations are. You're not just going there to get an objective. You remember what it's like in the start of the game. You remember what it's like in the greenery. You know, you remember what it's like in the storage center, because there's such memorable locations with such memorable events taking place. Now, the last really big thing I want to touch on that I really appreciate is the enemy AI. So these aren't just mindless enemies just walking around waiting to get shot. You know, they strategize, you know, these necromorphs. So what's cool about them is sometimes they won't even attack you even if they're in the room. You can actually sneak around them if you're careful enough. But what's also really great about them is they can spawn in behind you, and they can break in the air ducts behind you. And something that I thought was really interesting that I didn't know was possible was I found myself trapped in a room with like 4, 5, 6 necromorphs that were outside of the room. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm in a safe room. They can't get in. Boom, the air ducts go behind me and they just start pouring in. They are really well designed and really well programmed. The developers of this game, hats off to the people at EA for this game. The people that worked on this game did an amazing job, and I can't wait to finish it and give you my full review. But we're coming towards the end of the video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't played Dead Space and you like horror games, you like survival games, hell, you just like good games, play the Dead Space remake. It is so amazing, well deserving of $70. You get your money's worth. Action-packed, fantastic, and I've loved every second of it so far. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. Help me on the road to 750 subscribers. Let me know if you've been playing Dead Space, if you plan to play Dead Space, or what your plan is for Dead Space. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. And Resident Evil 4 Remake is coming. I mean, it's coming really soon. So there's a lot of horror games to talk about. I'm just really excited. We just had the Callisto Protocol, Dead Space, the remake, and now the Resident Evil 4 Remake. Things are looking good for gaming, especially in my area of the games I love. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. This is Austin, and I am out. Peace, guys.